The passage of the soul after death is depicted as a significant transition from the earthly existence to a timeless domain beyond. The Quran outlines a journey that begins with a person's last breath and progresses through various significant stages. It depicts the soul's departure, which can be serene or intense depending on an individual's beliefs and deeds, the transitional phase in barzakh, and ultimately leads to resurrection and final judgment, offering insight into the occurrences during and following death. It begins, when the angel of death assigned to claim a person's soul arrives, a veil will be lifted from that person's eyes, allowing them to see the angel. This marks the moment of death, rendering the person speechless as the extraction of the soul from the body commences. For the righteous, the angels come peacefully, giving glad tidings of peace and paradise. Those whose lives the angels take in a state of purity, saying, to them, peace be on you. Enter paradise for what you used to do. And for those who denied the truth, the angels retrieve the soul amidst struggle, as it resists departing from the body. If you could but see when the angels take the souls of those who disbelieved, they are striking their faces and their backs. Once the soul is taken, it resides in an intermediary state known as barzakh, until the day of resurrection, and behind them is a barrier, barzakh, until the day they are resurrected. And when death comes to one of them, they say, O my Lord, send me back that I might do righteousness in that which I left behind. No, it is but a word he is saying, and behind them is a barrier, barzakh, until the day they are resurrected. Barzakh is an intermediary state or barrier that separates the world of the living from the afterlife, specifically between death and resurrection. It represents a phase where souls reside until the day of judgment. The Quran depicts barzakh as a distinct realm where the deceased are segregated from the living in anticipation of the ultimate resurrection. The period of barzakh concludes with the commencement of the day of resurrection, and the trumpet will be blown, and at once from the graves to their Lord they will hasten. The dead are resurrected and rise from their graves to face judgment. Then indeed you, on the day of resurrection, will be resurrected. All nations will be assembled before God. Each nation will be gathered together and brought forward with its prophet, who served as their guide and messenger. Each nation will be brought with its prophet, and each will be questioned about how they responded to the message delivered to them. God will ask the nations about their prophets and their acceptance of the divine guidance. On the day when Allah will assemble the messengers and say, what was the response you received? And mention, O Muhammad, the day we will resurrect among every nation a witness over them from themselves. And we will bring you, O Muhammad, as a witness over your nation. Specifically, the nation of Jesus, Isa, will be questioned about their response to his message. The day when Allah will say, O Jesus, son of Mary, did you say to people, take me and my mother as gods besides Allah? He will say, exalted are you, it was not for me to say that, to which I have no right. Each person will then receive their record of deeds. The record will be a detailed account of their actions during their life, and they will be judged according to it. Those who were righteous and did good will receive their record in their right hand, a symbol of their success and reward. Then as for he who is given his record in his right hand, he will say, here, read my record. Indeed, I was certain that I would be meeting my account. So he will be in a pleasant life. On the other hand, those who led lives of denial or wrongdoing will receive their record in their left hand or behind their back, filled with dread and regret. But as for he who is given his record in his left hand, he will say, oh, I wish I had not been given my record and had not known what is my account. And the record of deeds will be placed open, and you will see the criminals fearful of that within it, and they will say, oh, woe to us! What is this book that leaves nothing small or great except that it has enumerated it? Each person's deeds are weighed on the scales of justice. And we set up the scales of justice for the day of resurrection, so no soul will be treated unjustly at all. And if there is even the weight of a mustard seed, we will bring it forth, and sufficient are we as accountant. So whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it, and whoever does an atom's weight of evil will see it. Those with more good deeds will succeed, while those with heavier scales of bad deeds will face consequences. Then as for one whose scales are heavy with good deeds, he will be in a pleasant life. But as for one whose scales are light, his refuge will be an abyss. God will issue the final judgment. This judgment decides whether a person will enter paradise or hell. For those who believed and did good, paradise is a place of eternal peace, joy, and reward. Indeed, the righteous will be among gardens and rivers, in a seat of honor near a sovereign, perfect in ability. Indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds, they will have the gardens of paradise as a lodging, wherein they abide eternally. For those who rejected the truth, hell is described as a place of torment and regret. But as for those who disbelieved, for them is the fire of hell. Death is not decreed for them, so they may die, nor will its torment be lightened for them. And fear the fire which has been prepared for the disbelievers. The final destination of each soul in paradise or hell is everlasting, with paradise as an eternal reward for the faithful and hell as lasting retribution for the disbelievers. Their reward with their Lord will be gardens of Eden, under which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever, Allah being pleased with them and they with Him. This order outlines the journey from the moment of death through resurrection, judgment, and finally to the eternal abode. According to the Quran, each stage is purposeful, leading ultimately to justice and the fulfillment of each soul's fate.